9 months. That's how long the money lasts. You run a $9 billion payments company. $41 million in fraud losses hit your books overnight. Your biggest competitor is circling. And in 72 hours, your board wants to know why the numbers don't add up. You're the CEO. The clock is already running. Corvex Payments, B2B transaction processing, 12,000 merchants across 31 countries. Revenue, $1.2 billion annually. Growth was 22% last year. This year, 4.1%. The engine is stalling. Cash position, $740 million. 9 months of runway at current burn. The board is aware. Fraud loss rate, 2.8%. Industry norm is 0.4%. Something is wrong, and everyone can see it. Merchant Net Promoter Score, 31. Down from 52 in January. Your customers are unhappy and they're telling each other. Top 3 merchant concentration, 34% of processed volume. A big number, but stable. Or so it looks. And your competitor, Apex Pay, just raised $400 million at a $9 billion valuation. They're coming for your mid-market, they're coming now. The board mood is tense. 2 members from Kestrel Capital are already whispering about a sale. The regulator is watching. Your staff of 3,200 is reading the internal Slack channels and wondering, this is your company. These are your numbers. Let's begin. Overnight, your fraud detection system lights up like a Christmas tree. 340% spike in chargebacks. Unauthorized transactions across your mid-market portfolio. Projected losses, $41 million this quarter. 3 banking partners have called. They want answers by Friday. You have 3 people in the room and none of them agree. Dana Kessler, your CFO, wants a lockdown. Freeze everything. Her words, I don't care about the volume hit. I care about the $41 million. Marcus Webb, your CMO, says that's a death sentence. You freeze those merchants, you lose them to Apex Pay by Monday, deploy the AI, keep the pipes open. And Priya Anand, your CTO, gives you the engineering reality. The AI model needs 6 weeks to train. I can hot patch it in 10 days, but you'll get a 12% false positive rate. Merchants will get angry. 3 options. None of them are clean. Choose. Option A, lockdown. Freeze all 1,400 flagged merchants. Manual reviews over 30 days. Safe, controlled, and 22% of those merchants will be gone before the review is done. Apex Pay is already dialing. Option B, hot patch. Deploy the accelerated AI fraud layer. Keep every merchant live. Stop the bleeding in 9 days. But 12% of legitimate merchants will get flagged wrongfully. 3,200 angry support tickets. A backlash you can see coming. Option C, Glasshouse. Go public. Publish a transparency report. Tell every merchant, every regulator, every journalist exactly what's happening. Radical honesty. And within 48 hours, Apex Pay's sales team will be waving your report in front of every merchant you have. 10 seconds. Lock it in. The CEO chose the hot patch. The AI layer goes live in 9 days. Fraud losses drop from $41 million projected to $14 million. The banking partners exhale. Dana Kessler allows herself a small nod, but week 3 hits. 3,200 legitimate merchants get flagged and frozen by the algorithm. Support tickets explode. A merchant in Sao Paulo posts a video. It gets 2 million views. Marcus Webb's phone hasn't stopped ringing since Tuesday. And Apex Pay? They noticed. They're calling your flagged merchants by name. 54% of you chose the lockdown. 28% went with the hot patch. 18% went full Glasshouse. The CEO is in the 28. If you'd chosen lockdown, fraud drops to 0.3%, but 310 merchants defect to Apex Pay. Q3 volume misses by 14%. The bleeding stops, but the patient is weaker. If you'd chosen Glasshouse, the transparency report earns regulator praise, and Apex Pay sends it to every Corvex merchant with a cover letter that reads, "Switch today." Honesty has a price. Cash, 78, you stop the immediate bleeding. Trust, 45, the false positives cost you. Momentum, 68. The AI layer is a growth story for now. Risk is at 3 pips. You took a shortcut. The algorithm is running hot. Runway extends to 10 months. You bought time. The question is what you do with it. 12 days later, Apex Pay launches a zero-fee processing tier for mid-market merchants. Your mid-market merchants. The exact ones your AI just flagged and angered. Their sales team is calling your merchants by name. They have a list. You don't know how they got it. Priya Anand flags it as a possible leak. She's investigating. Merchant churn jumps to 6.2% in a single week. Dana Kessler, calm as ever. We match the pricing. We eat the margin. We stop the bleeding. Let them take the low-margin accounts. We go up market, premium. And Priya, still circling the leak. Before we do anything, I want to know how they got our list. That's not a coincidence. The leak question will matter later. Right now, you have a price war to fight. Option A, match and hold. Launch a temporary zero-fee tier. Deploy a retention team. Call every at-risk merchant. It costs $28 million in margin over 2 quarters and delays your R&D roadmap by 6 weeks. But the merchants stay. Option B, premium pivot. Let Apex have the mid-market. Reposition Corvex as the enterprise processor. White glove service, higher margins, but 18% of your current revenue walks out the door and the board will notice. Option C, Counter-Strike. Acquire Lattice Pay, $340 million. You absorb their mid-market base and flank Apex, but it drains your cash, triggers an antitrust review, and takes 4 months to close. 10 seconds. The merchants are on hold. The CEO matches. 4,100 retention calls in 10 days. Churn drops from 6.2 to 2.1%. The banking partners are satisfied, the merchants stay, but the zero-fee tier guts the quarter. Dana Kessler presents the revised forecast in a room that's very quiet. R&D is delayed. The new API platform pushes to Q1 next year. The growth narrative you sold investors 18 months ago is now a question mark with a footnote. The CEO played defense. Sometimes that's the right call, sometimes it just delays the problem. Premium pivot, mid-market revenue drops 18% by Q4. Enterprise grows 9%, but the board questions the strategy. You saved margin and lost scale. Counter-Strike Lattice Pay closes in 5 months. Antitrust adds 4 more. You have scale, but integration is a 12-month headache, and your cash is gone. Cash, 73, the margin hit landed, trust, 55, the merchant stayed, you held the line. Momentum, 56. And that's the problem. You're holding, not growing, holding. Risk drops to 2. You played it straight, no shortcuts this round. Runway 9 months, back where you started. And Priya Anand's leak investigation is still open. She hasn't reported back. She's about to. Priya Anand's leak investigation didn't find a data breach. It found Greg Tanaka, your VP of Sales, 14 months. 3 regional directors, $210 million in inflated transaction volume, padded numbers to hit quarterly targets, to trigger bonuses, to make the growth story look real when it wasn't. And here's the part that should make your stomach drop. The inflated volume is concentrated in 3 merchant accounts, the same 3 that make up 34% of your total processed volume. The same 34% you saw in the briefing, the number that looked stable. The fraud spike from Decision 1 wasn't an attack, it was the ghost transactions collapsing. The chargebacks weren't criminals, they were the numbers catching up. You spent 2 decisions fighting an external war. The enemy was in the building. Greg Tanaka is on the 14th floor right now. He's asking for a meeting. The board audit committee meets in 72 hours, and you have to decide what the truth looks like. The room is smaller now. 4 people, Dana Kessler, Marcus Webb, Priya Anand, and Tom Brandt, your general counsel, who has not smiled since he walked in. Dana is blunt. We restate, we disclose, we fire Greg. If we don't, and this leaks, we are Wirecard. I will not be the CFO of a Wirecard. Marcus leans forward. A full public restatement tanks the stock 30%. We do an internal correction, restate quietly to the auditors, manage the narrative. The market never needs to see the word fraud. And Tom Brandt, who chooses his words like a man walking through a minefield. Legally, we have a 10-day SEC disclosure window. What we do in those 10 days defines whether this is a restatement or a cover-up. Choose carefully. This isn't a business decision anymore. This is a moral one. Option A, full disclosure. Fire Greg publicly. Restate 4 quarters. Self-report to the SEC. Cooperate with regulators. The stock drops 25 to 35%. 2 board members will push for your removal. But the truth is out and the clock stops. Option B, contain correction. Quiet internal investigation. Restate to auditors privately. Reassign Greg with a severance package. Disclose a volume recalibration in the next earnings call. Never say the word fraud. It's not a lie. It's not the whole truth. It's a managed truth. And if it leaks, the cover-up is worse than the crime. Option C, bury it. Call it a processing error. Blame the external fraud from decision one. Let the old narrative absorb the new one. And you are now actively concealing securities fraud. Federal matter, personal liability, prison. And if you notice the number in the briefing, the 34%, the 3 merchants, there's a fourth option. Surgical disclosure. Use the concentration data to prove the inflation was isolated. 3 accounts, 34%. Contained. Disclose surgically to the SEC with a pre-built remediation plan. Frame it as a detected control failure, not systemic fraud. It only works if the regulator agrees it's isolated. If they widen the scope, you look like you're minimizing 10 seconds. Greg Tanaka is still on the 14th floor. The CEO chose the contained correction. The earnings call uses the phrase volume recalibration due to processing anomalies. 2 analyst questions. Marcus Webb's comms team fields them cleanly. The stock dips 4% and recovers. Greg Tanaka's LinkedIn updates to open to opportunities within the hour. His severance includes a non-disparagement clause. He signs it, for now. Dana Kessler doesn't make eye contact with the CEO for the rest of the week. The 10-day SEC window closes with a private filing. No public 8K yet. Full disclosure, the stock drops 31% in 2 sessions. The SEC opens a formal inquiry. 2 board members call for a leadership review, but regulators note Corvex's cooperation. The wound is deep, but it's clean. Bury it. The processing error narrative holds for 6 weeks. Then a mid-level accountant talks to a journalist. The story isn't about fraud anymore. It's about the cover-up, and that story doesn't have a contained correction. Surgical disclosure. The SEC accepts the isolated failure framing. Stock dips 9%. Regulators commend the detection. Greg Tanaka is terminated for cause. The 34% saved you, if you saw it. Cash, 78. The contained correction held the stock. Trust, 47. Dana Kessler's silence is louder than any number. Momentum, 62. The market bought the recalibration story. For now, risk is at 4 pips. You're 1 pip from the danger zone. 1 leaked email. 1 disgruntled ex-VP. 1 journalist with a source. Runway, 9 months. The clock didn't stop. It never stops. Dana Kessler had a private meeting with the board chair. You didn't attend. You weren't invited. The audit committee, led by independent director Helen Voss, votes 4-2 to commission an independent forensic investigation. 2 board members from Kestrel Capital want you replaced before it concludes. The investigation will take 60 days. During that time, every strategic decision, every hire, every launch, every partnership requires committee sign-off. You are on a leash. Dana, steady as always. Accept it. Full cooperation. The independent auditor becomes your shield. Fight it. You give them an inch, they take the company. And Priya, pragmatic to the end. Cooperate, but negotiate the scope. Keep them in sales. Protect the product roadmap. 60 days. The longest 2 months of your career. Option A. Open book. Accept the investigation fully. Provide everything. Submit to weekly check-ins. It means 60 days of operational paralysis. Every decision bottlenecked. Competitors don't wait for your audit to finish, but you walk out the other side clean. Option B. Assert authority. Push back. Cite your contractual authority as CEO. Limit the investigation to the sales division. Helen Voss will go to the press if you stonewall. The headline writes itself. Corvex CEO blocks fraud probe. Option C. Restructure the board. Call an emergency shareholder meeting. Replace the 2 Kestrel members with aligned directors. It costs $12 million in legal fees, and every institutional investor in your cap table will view it as entrenchment. You win the vote and lose the room. 10 seconds. Helen Voss is watching. The CEO opens the book. Helen Voss hires Whitmore Forensics. They set up on the 14th floor, the same floor where Greg Tanaka used to sit. The CEO hands over everything. Emails, Slack logs, board decks, 14 months of sales reports. Weekly check-ins are 3 hours of questions. Document requests at 11 p.m. The slow grinding erosion of operational speed. The new API platform is delayed another 4 weeks, but the narrative holds. The financial press covers it as Corvex cleans house. Kestrel Capital's 2 members stay on the board. They stop pushing for removal. They reduce their position by 2%. A warning shot, not a kill shot. The CEO took the leash. Sometimes leadership is sitting still. Assert authority. Helen Voss leaks the pushback to the Financial Times. Corvex CEO blocks fraud probe. Stock drops 14% in a session. You kept your authority and lost the narrative. Restructure the board. The proxy fight cost $12 million. Kestrel Capital publicly accuses you of entrenchment. Institutional investors side with Kestrel. You win the vote, you lose the trust. Cash 70. The investigation costs money. Lawyers, auditors, 60 days of slowed operations. Trust 59. You cooperated. Helen Voss noted in her report. Momentum 57. You're treading water. The product roadmap is a quarter behind. Risk drops to 3. The open book play cleaned 1 pip off the board. You're out of the danger zone, barely. Runway 8 months. The investigation 8 a month. And the Whitmore report is due in 2 weeks. Whatever it says, the next move is yours. The Whitmore report lands on a Tuesday. Contained finding, inflated volume in 3 accounts, 210 million restated, no evidence of CEO knowledge. The board accepts it. Helen Voss shakes your hand. It means something, but the damage is done. Growth has stalled. The stock is at $61. It was $134 when you started. Kestrel Capital has brought in a buyer, Helios Financial, $72 a share, an 18% premium, a clean exit. At the same time, Priya Anand walks into your office with a tablet. On it, a working prototype of a real-time cross-border settlement engine. A $4 billion market. Nobody else has it. It needs 6 months and every dollar of remaining runway. And Marcus Webb has a third plan. Take Corvex private, delist, restructure away from quarterly earnings pressure, rebuild. But it requires $1.2 billion in private equity, and Kestrel Capital will litigate the exit. 3 doors, the board votes Friday. Take the Helios deal. Shareholders get made whole. We walk away with our reputations. Go private. We come back in 3 years at $200 a share. Priya, quiet, holding the tablet. The settlement engine works. I've tested it, but we need every dollar and 0 distractions. This is the last hand. Play it. Option A, the exit. Accept Helios at $72 a share. Shareholders get the premium. You walk away. Corvex becomes a division. The settlement engine dies in a Helios backlog. 3 years of Priya's work, shelved. The company you built stops existing, but everyone gets paid. Option B, the bet. Reject Helios. Pour the remaining runway into the settlement engine. Launch in Q1. Open a market nobody else is in, or go bankrupt in 9 months. There is no plan B. The board will not forgive a second gamble. If the launch slips by 8 weeks, you're insolvent. Option C, go dark. Take Corvex private. $1.2 billion in private equity backing. Delist, restructure, rebuild. But Kestrel Capital exits at a loss, and they will sue. The restructuring takes 18 months. The settlement engine and the core business both stall. You save the company and lose 2 years. 15 seconds. The board is waiting. The CEO tears up the term sheet. The press release goes out at 6:47 a.m. on a Friday. Corvex to launch real-time cross-border settlement platform in Q1. The stock jumps 11%, then wobbles, then holds. Helios walks. Kestrel Capital publishes a statement. We respect the board's decision. They do not respect it. You can hear it in the syntax. Priya Anand's team moves to a war room on the 9th floor. Whiteboards, cold brew, a countdown on the wall. 9 months, 1 product, no safety net. The board vote was 4-3. Helen Voss voted yes, barely. She looked at the CEO across the table and said, "You'd better be right." The exit. Helios acquires Corvex at $72 a share. Shareholders get the premium. Priya Anand resigns the day the deal closes. The settlement engine is archived. The CEO's exit package is $14 million. Corvex stops existing as an independent company. Clean, quiet, gone. Go dark. Corvex delists. Kestrel files suit. Restructuring takes 18 months. The settlement engine launches late into a market that's already moved on. You saved the body and lost the timing. Cash 80. The Helios rejection and the settlement engine announcement boosted the stock, which unlocked a credit line. Trust, 54. The board is split. Kestrel is circling, but the market believes in the product. Momentum, 69. The highest it's been since the fraud spike. The settlement engine is a story people want to buy. Risk, 4 pips. The contained correction is still under the floor. Greg Tanaka still has a non-disparagement clause and a grudge. 1 thread. Runway, 9 months. Launch window, Q1. If Priya hits the date, Corvex opens a $4 billion market. If she doesn't, the company is insolvent by summer. The CEO bet the company on a product and a team. Now we wait. Final stats. You kept the company alive. You kept the product alive. You didn't keep everyone happy. Dana Kessler still doesn't make eye contact. Greg Tanaka is open to opportunities, and Kestrel Capital is counting the days until Q2. Board verdict, confidential memo. The CEO navigated a fraud crisis, a competitor price war, and an internal sales conspiracy without losing the company. The contained correction in Q3 was a calculated risk that held barely. The settlement engine bet is either visionary or reckless. We will know in 9 months. Recommend, retain with conditions. Drop your code in the comments. I want to see how many of you went glasshouse. I want to see how many of you buried it. And I want to know 13% of you saw the 34%. Did you? Next episode. You run a $4 billion biotech company. Your entire pipeline depends on one phase 3 trial. The data unblinds in 6 weeks. Your cash lasts 4 months. And your chief scientist just told you the early numbers look complicated. 3 choices for next week's scenario. Should the CEO sell before trial results? Should the CEO bet the company on the trial? Or should the CEO license the drug and pivot? Same rules, 5 decisions.